Hey friend, it's me Vasco with a quick announcement. We at the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast are organizing this year's Scrum Master Summit. For tickets and details on the summit, check out the URL bit.ly/SM Summit 22. All one word, SMSUMMIT 22. And now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday, Success Thursday, this week with Nick Nielsen. Hi, Nick. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
So, Nick, on Thursdays, we talk about success, but we also want to know what's your favorite retrospective format and why, Nick?
My initial go-to would be the Sailboat. I like that because it covers a wide variety of aspects, and you can adopt it to your own context. So you can add elements or leave out elements, and it's visual. So I like that. But the one that I've had the most fun with, like that pops to mind, is doing like a league with brackets. You know, where you take the potential stuff to work on, and you put them up against each other head to head, and then you do voting, and you might need to do some argumentation and figure out who won, and then it gets like gamified. And I just remember one retrospective where we had so much fun with that, and people were like, "Damn it, this one lost," but I really thought that this would be the one. So that one I really liked, but most importantly, keep it fresh. Keep doing new formats every retrospective, and use the retrospective to hold up a mirror to the team, right? Preferably data driven.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about these brackets, so right, like it's almost like a tennis tournament, almost like a tournament, right? You're comparing things one to one, right? Like you're doing, idea A against idea B, and then whichever idea wins goes on to the next stage, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you could argue that maybe A, B, C, D, and then A and B, they go against each other, and maybe A and B were actually the most important ones. So they should have not been placed in the same bracket, but it was about having fun. And I think sometimes we forget that in a Scrum team, and we might take the retrospective a little too seriously. Problem B will still be there in 2 weeks. Don't worry, people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great addition. What I usually tell people is don't worry about the important things because the really important things come back.
Yeah, exactly. I think if your retrospectives are too gloomy, then people will start hating them. There should be a session where you start with energy, you do some really serious work, and then you finish with energy. So you go out of there thinking, "Oh, this was great," instead of you start with how shit is the team today? Okay, it's pretty shit, and then talking about all of the bad stuff, and then it's like, "Have a good day, everyone. Hope you feel
Yeah, you just
energized."
get everybody down. That's a very good point that retrospectives are also a key moment for us to bring back energy to the team with such fun formats like the Brackets League or the tournament format. That was great. Nick, now we turn our attention to the role of the Scrum Master and, of course, what makes us successful in that role. So share with us, what's your definition of success as a Scrum Master?
As a Scrum Master, you work on so many levels, and sometimes this success can be really hard to spot. And thinking about this question, again, what pops into my head is metrics, and part of what I try to do in our organization is actually do constant measurements from a holistic view, and those can be indicators of success. So for example, when we talk about agile, to fully understand it, I need to say there's this old model about a culture, and how culture is in a company, and they use the iceberg as a metaphor. You can observe 20% of culture, and 80% is hard to observe because it's under the water surface, right? And I think when you look at agile, you can go out and observe. So that's the doing agile. So do we have the training wheels of Scrum? So that would mean having a Scrum Master, having a dedicated product owner, having the team size 7 plus minus 2. All of those uh, textbooks definitions. You can go out and observe them really easily. But then there is the stuff under the water surface, and that is actually, are we being agile? So we can do agile behaviors, but do we feel and do we act in an agile manner? And for us, we do both the observations, but we actually also do quarterly measurements on our teams, asking them, subjectively, how do they feel in the agile in regards to the agile manifest. So we ask around customer collaboration, individuals and transactions, and the values, right? So that for me is one way of looking at success. Do you actually foster the right mindset in your team members?
I like the idea of looking at holistic metrics. I wanted to explore that a little bit more because so there's the problem of the iceberg, as you said, right? Like there's the stuff you can observe, and then there's also a lot of stuff you can't observe. But we can measure them via proxy metrics that look at the whole system. And we've already talked about Accelerate and the DORA metrics on Tuesday. And some of those metrics are really important to observe the behavior of all of the teams together, not every team individually, but all of the teams together. So I totally agree with the idea of doing some surveys and doing observation. But then, for example, how do we know that we are becoming agile as we said we wanted to? Of course, we can look at the lead time, we can look at cycle time, we can look at quality metrics, we can look at customer satisfaction. And those are all metrics about what's not visible from the iceberg of agile adoption, right? Like it's about a lot of other dynamics that go on that we can't necessarily observe, but they kind of surface through this, let's call them systemic metrics, right?
Yeah. So you mentioned the DORA metric. So now you have to. This is hard to explain like visually, but you have to see that on the one side we have doing and being agile, and then on the other side, the top level metrics would be, for example, DORA. That's also something we can go out and objectively observe and measure. Right? It's something we can get from our. It could be Kubernetes, or we can get it from our systems. But then under the water surface, DORA they highlighted, for example, psychological safety. That's actually something that they link with the overall performance metrics. So we also measure those, and they are also subjective, right? But they are an important indicator. Do we have the prerequisites to succeed with the DORA metrics? So we try to do that holistic view. We also measure, for example, team morale to figure out if our teams are, you could say, healthy. And we've chosen morale instead of happiness because happiness is so heavily influenced by the rest of your life, right? And we're not trying to do like an HR employee survey. We are very much focused on how we as an organization can view ourselves holistically. And then, of course, the main measures should not be agile or DORA. It should be value, right? Are we creating value? But the other ones, they're prerequisites for that.
Absolutely. And I think that's what then means looking at it holistically, right? It's like assuming and accepting that there are things we can't know, but we can create, let's call them sensor metrics, right? Like metrics that tells us when something is going wrong that we need to look at. Like you talked about team morale as an example, customer satisfaction, and other systemic metrics, right? That's an important tool to have in our toolbox. Thank you very much for sharing that, Nick.
Of course.
Hey friends, it's Vasco again, now with a bit longer announcement. I'm part of the team that is behind the Global Scrum Master Summit, the conference dedicated to the Scrum Master role. If you're a Scrum Master, the Scrum Master Summit is the place to learn, to share, and of course to meet new friends. We will have lots of live sessions where you can meet and network with other Scrum Masters from the whole globe. So make sure you check it at bit.ly/SM Summit 22. We have several amazing keynotes and 7 tracks that feature people like you and of course thought leaders sharing their insights, their knowledge, and helping you become an awesome Scrum Master. You can check out all of the details of the summit, including the keynotes announced, the track chairs, and much more at bit.ly/SM Summit 22. That's all one word. That's bit.ly/SM SUMMIT and the numeral 22. I'll see you on the conference floor.